Welcome to the Austin All Day Culinary Tales podcast. I'm your host, Jason Powers, and this is episode 22. We're here with Chef Ryan Rosen of the Brooklyn Breakfast Shop. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. We're currently trying to get these podcasts in video format on YouTube. Look for that coming in the future. Follow us on Instagram at Austin All Day Podcast. And if you feel like showing any support for the channel, it's greatly appreciated. We are on Patreon. You guys sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. Chef Ryan Rosen of Brooklyn Breakfast Shop.
Yes.
Which is a food truck that's not officially up and going, but it is.
It's going to be a food trailer.
Food trailer.
Yes.
Food trailer. Correction. So how's that going?
So it's been about 6 months in the making. Pretty much, as of next week, I will have the loan secured, and the truck is in the process of being built.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
Exciting and nerve-wracking?
Very.
Stressful?
Very.
So what made you want to do the trailer?
I've been in Austin for just under 2 years now, and I'm from New York, from Brooklyn, and pretty much in New York. Hence the name. And pretty much anywhere in New York you can go to a corner store and get, a breakfast sandwich.
Okay.
In Austin, it's not really accessible unless it's fast food, and the only other real breakfast option is breakfast tacos.
Yeah.
So I see there's a need for it and a want. I've spoken to a lot of people. I was driving for Uber for a little bit, and I would mention my concept and my ideas, and everyone, whether they were from Austin or a transplant, they were in love with the idea and the concepts.
Okay, so can I ask what is the breakfast sandwich to you? What will we see at the trailer?
So pretty much what I'm going to be doing, I'm always going to have something seasonal and local.
Okay.
That's the main premise of it. I want it to be, everything from scratch, chef-driven. It's going to be 3 to 4 different kinds of sandwiches. I'm always going to have a biscuit sandwich. I'm going to have a vegan, gluten-free English muffin that's made with buckwheat.
So do you already have vendor for that and farms?
I have relationships with a lot of local farms.
Okay, so you know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I already have a general idea of what I'm going to do. We're also going to do a seasonal hash. So every week the menu's going to change as what I can get.
Okay, yeah.
So the hash will be, lately mushrooms are really great. So I've been doing a lot of mushroom hashes.
Mushroom hash. I've not had a mushroom hash. What's the process to make that?
Literally just a hash is anything potato. The base is generally a potato.
You know what I'm thinking? Right now I'm thinking a hash, like hash browns. But you're talking more
I'm going to be elevating a little bit. More for
potatoes,
produce, more into vegetation.
Okay. So
not
you might
just
have
a potato.
Right, you might have potatoes, bell peppers, but mushrooms incorporated in there too.
Yeah, that's going to be one of them. I could do a cauliflower. Okay. I could do a bitter green one, bitter greens.
I think am I right or wrong when I maybe there's a little influence from the experience with peach tortilla?
There definitely is. With the trailer itself, I'm going to be doing a lot of fermentation as well, which is going to be a lot like kimchi. I'm actually making from scratch.
Right.
I'm going to be doing a lot of pickles. I'm just going to be pickling everything.
Sure.
And a lot of that, a lot of the Asian influence I'll be showing on the trailer as well is coming from my time with Peached.
So coming from Brooklyn prior to peach tortilla, did you have... So if you hadn't gone to Peach Tortilla, let's put it this way, if you've never gone there and you came here to open the Brooklyn Breakfast Shop, would you see the same sort of menu, or is a lot of the influence coming from there? And maybe not a lot, but some.
If I would have never went to Peached, I don't think I would be in this position, because following Eric and his story and listening to it and him guiding me, it kind of helped me realize, hey, I need to do my own thing. I can't keep working for people.
I fanboy out a little when I hear about Eric because there's a lot of positive around him.
I love him. He's always been supportive.
That's all I've heard.
Yeah.
Right. And Michael has he really looks up to him. Richard's learned a lot from him.
Definitely.
You worked there. You're led to follow your dream now doing this. So yeah.
I mean, I asked him my advice. I gave them, a little bit of notice when I was leaving, and I asked him to have a meeting with me before I left. And he said that he would be stupid if he didn't support what I wanted to do and support an entrepreneur. So that was all I needed as reassurance was, hey, listen, you might not make a lot of money. You might fail. But the fact that you're trying, that's all you need.
I think that he's smart for saying that.
Definitely.
And I think what he said is very legitimate. It's a fact. Do you think you've always had this kind of like entrepreneur like quality in you?
I don't think so. Like, I've always been the type to just always have a job, always work. I've worked 2 to 3 jobs pretty much my whole life out of culinary school, and I've never wanted to open up something until I moved here.
So during culinary school, before culinary school, the jobs you were working, you didn't, you weren't trying to do little side things like side projects of your own or sell anything that you were making or...
I mean, I've always loved food, but it wasn't until I was like 19 where I realized my life is going nowhere. I need to figure something out.
Okay, and the answer was food.
Well, I went to food. I went to like this really terrible school in Brooklyn, and actually, in Brooklyn.
For culinary arts?
Yeah, it was like a 3-month stint, and it did nothing for me. And then it didn't take me anywhere. It was pretty much the class was for like underprivileged people, and I wasn't really underprivileged, but I wasn't, well off. So they decided to throw me into this class. It was like a test run, and it was just 3 months. It was like a 3-month crash course.
Okay, it wasn't officially like a thing. It was more of
it was like it was a beta tester basically. Okay. We were like 9 kids who just had problems.
But okay, so you didn't have problems previous?
I mean,
a little bit.
No problems that I didn't cause myself.
Well, a lot of guys that end up in the kitchen have the kind of mentality where
I've done a lot of stupid things when I was younger.
Right, and then you gravitated towards the kitchen and you felt at home.
I've always loved food. It's always been. I was always the fat kid, so it's just
Do you still have Fat Kid Day?
Every day.
Every day is Fat Kid Day. Those are words to live by. I'll tell you. Sunday's mine, but I pretty much it tends to be every day for me too. But Sunday is my like official.
Just pig out the whole day.
Pig out, breweries, whatever. Brunch become a recent thing.
I love brunch.
I love brunch.
I love breakfast. Just throw an egg on anything.
I didn't ever do brunch until I started the podcast. And we started talking with people, and I was like, I got to go.
I used to have like Saturdays and Sundays off when I lived in New York. So every, one of the 2 days, I would always just get my wife, get my friends. Hey, let's go get brunch in the city.
Yeah.
It was the thing.
Oh, yeah. New York. Wow. New York, Austin. What a contrast, right?
It's a cultural difference. It's night and day.
Do you have a preference, no offense to Austin or New York?
I love Austin. I got so sucked into the New York mentality where you're just miserable all the time. And, and people who aren't from New York, they're always like, oh, they're so rude. And it does hold a lot of truth. It's just you're riding a subway for an hour and a half to 2 hours just to go to your job for 10 hours and then do the same thing going back home. And then by the time you get home, it's 8 o'clock. You're starving. There's, you can do anything, but your rent is double what you make.
Yeah. Not to mention the winters.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I moved. It just got so exhausting. I loved winter as a kid. Autumn is my favorite season.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago now, like the last winter that I stayed in New York, it was a complete whiteout to the point where it was illegal to drive, catch a cab, and take the subways were down. Like you could not get anywhere in the boroughs.
And when you're a kid, that's like, yay, no school, nothing.
As an adult, you're like, crap, I'm missing a day's pay.
And then just being cooped up inside a home.
Well, me and my wife ended up just walking outside, but you couldn't see like 2 feet in front of you. That's the definition of a whiteout.
Yeah.
That's
intense.
Yeah, and I got in trouble for not going to work that day. And that was the straw.
So I thought that was illegal, no?
It was, so the job that I was working, they were moving me around a lot, so I was in a different location, and pretty much the person who I was working for, he was just an awful human being. And when he heard that I wasn't coming in, he was a little pissed.
Oh, Lord.
And he's like, we still have people to feed. And I was like, I understand that, but they should not be at work. And they're like, well, you should come in. And I was like, well, you didn't offer a hotel. You offered every other manager there a hotel, but me, I live 10 miles away. I have no way of getting there. I'm not coming in. Simple as that.
Right.
I can't help you with that.
And that is New York.
That's the mentality. It's like
Yeah.
it's the city that never sleeps.
City
Even
that
in
never
pure
sleeps.
whiteout.
Yeah, and that's kind of the kind of grumpy person that deals with the harsh weather winters, and it kind of rubs off on their mentality.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, I don't really notice your accent." I'm like, "Well, because I'm not pissed off every day. You piss me off, then my Brooklyn will come out."
I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the same concept.
Same concept, and I notice if I take like a flight home, you notice immediately. The
Yeah.
people are totally different, but also, so you prefer Austin,
Yes,
the sunshine.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, you take the heat over the cold weather.
I would rather 110 degrees 3 months straight than do another winter.
Sure. What about food?
The food, it's unparalleled. It's just New York, in my opinion. I've been, in New York my whole life. I've seen the food go from nothing to what it is now, and it's such a progressive city when it comes to the culinary arts. And I feel like every other week they're trying to come out with something new.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the next new thing? What's the next,
But
big
you liked
thing?
it.
I liked it when I knew how to appreciate it.
Right.
That's the big difference. It's like, you spend 25 years, well, I was like 22. I didn't know jack shit about food when I was a kid. And then when I learned how to cook and worked under some great chefs in New York, they pretty much showed me, the proper way to do things and, learn to like things. Even if you don't like them as a kid or, keep trying it. You'll learn to like it and learn to appreciate it, where it came from. And it's just, that stuck with me. And then once I started cooking, I was already tired of the city, tired of trying new places. And, I would go to the farmer's market. I would get the vegetation over there. I think
Yeah.
the produce is definitely a little bit better than in Texas. They have more wild things, more, things to forage and,
Sure.
seasonality. But I definitely do love the food scene in Austin. That's what kind of brought me here.
Yeah. So a little bit about New York. Did you find a decent culinary school while you were
No.
there? Okay.
None the ones that are out there are like 40K, 50K, and I wasn't trying to spend that.
No. Right. Well, that's smart.
Yeah.
And you can essentially learn everything you need to in a kitchen.
Yeah. I don't want to say I regret going to culinary school because I did meet my wife there, but it just, I'm still paying it off. And it wasn't that expensive.
For the school that didn't help.
Yeah, I knew more going into the school than I learned going out of the school.
Now you just know how to pay a bill.
Yeah. So I did, at 19, I went to this, the 3-month stint, and then I moved from Brooklyn to Long Island when I was like 21. And I found a culinary school because I was like, I'm 22 now and I'm making $9 an hour. I'm like, I'm not happy. I got to figure out what I want to do. And just food kind of drew me in again, for the third time in my life. And then at 22, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do this. I'm going to jump in. I paid for it out of pocket. And I'm still paying for it out of pocket.
All right.
And that's what the turning point was. Just 22, just I'm not making money. I hate my job. I hate myself. Let's try to figure it out.
So does it hold any water, the actual diploma from the culinary school? Has it helped you in any way?
I don't think it's helped me.
No.
It's just when you go on stages or interviews or cooking interviews, anything like that, they're not going to be like, oh, what did your school teach you, 10 years ago?
Right.
It's just, they'll look for, your techniques, what you've learned in kitchens. As someone who hired people for the past 5 or 6 years as a manager and as a sous chef, I would have taken anybody who worked in kitchens for 2 or 3 years and didn't go to school than someone who's been, a culinary graduate and they've had a year under their belt.
But you select someone who's working,
Someone who can show that they're pushing and they want to learn. Like
Right.
I've taken on a couple people, like back in New York. I had this cook. He was like 16 at the time. And I told him when he turns 18, we'll talk. I'll get you a job and I'll get you the pay you deserve and I'll teach you what I know. And I kept in touch with him for 2 years. And I ended up hiring him. And he was probably one of my best cooks because he was always the one willing to stay for an 18-hour day. He was always the one willing to learn and, clean and just really
You
take the
up?
next step forward. You know,
Keep
just
up with him?
Really, I do. He's back in New York. I'm trying to convince him to move down here.
Oh, okay. All right. So
really,
good work ethic.
Really phenomenal work ethic. His father was a chef in New York City for many years. I think he worked in the same restaurant for like 30 years.
Okay.
So
where did when you started to get the appreciation for food, where's some places you've worked in New York?
So out of culinary school, I actually started working like 4 jobs. I was just
simultaneously.
Yeah, all at once. Ooh. And after like a month of that, I went to 3 jobs. After about a year of that, I went to 2 jobs. And I've always worked 2 jobs just because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to just learn from one kitchen. I want to kind of just deep dive into it. And when I started working for one pretty much a corporate dining called Compass Group, one of the largest
we have
employers.
That here, right? Yeah.
We have a ton of them here.
Okay,
but I worked for one of their
St.
sectors.
Edwards or
they have like I think 12 or 15 different sectors under their umbrella. So it could be Flick, it could be
Flick. Yeah, I know those. Okay,
yeah, they do like prisons.
Prisons. They do Dell Medical here.
Yeah, they do a lot of hospitals. But I was working for the what they called their fine dining sector in New York City. They only had a couple locations outside of New York City.
Okay.
And I worked under the chef named Anthony.
They work at the prisons.
Yeah, so I was working under this chef named Anthony Nichols, and he pretty much took me under his wing. He was like my sous chef at one location, and then he decided to. Well, he didn't decide. They decided for him that he was ready to get an executive chef position, and he said when he gets that, he wants me to come work for him. So I did that.
Okay.
And after like 6 months with that company, he took me from Long Island to Manhattan. And
that's good, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, I was in Brooklyn my whole life, moved to Long Island for like a year or two, and then he took me back to New York, to Manhattan and Brooklyn, and he pretty much taught me everything I know to this day.
Nice. So he's a mentor.
He was my first mentor.
Okay.
And I do miss that guy. He was probably one of the best chefs I've ever worked under.
Nice.
He was meticulous. He was anal retentive, but he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that was the main focus for me. I would drink every single morning before my shift. I would just drink it to the face. Just a couple bottles of wine, whatever I had, beer.
Yeah.
Just 6 a.m, just drink and then go to work because I was so full of anxiety that I didn't want to fuck up.
Oh, goodness.
He was like one of those chefs who was very strict.
Okay.
We would get angry. He wouldn't throw things, but he would get very pissed off if you fucked up.
Is he French?
No.
Sorry, you said he didn't throw things, so he's not French.
Yeah, I've had food thrown on me, but
okay.
Yeah, not from him. But he was he was probably one of the best chefs I ever worked under. He was just all about technique and methods, and it rang so many bells in my head, like this is the reason this goes with this. Like it's just I can't explain it outside of that.
Okay.
It's kind of hard.
And then the cuisine you're gravitating towards during that time period?
It was eclectic. It was the way Compass Group works is they take every ethnicity and do like menus, like daily menus.
Oh, okay.
And then seasonal menus and things like that.
Which is kind of
it's every day is a new thing.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, right? You can go all around the world.
That's how I learned from just doing that. Like, you're doing Greek, you're doing Indian, you're doing Italian, you're doing American.
Oh no, I think that's like a great education, especially when your education you got shafted on, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. So Manhattan, how's that though?
It was a struggle at first because I never, like living in Brooklyn, I never worked in Manhattan. I always worked in Brooklyn because I was a kid. I didn't know about Manhattan. I never really trekked there.
Right.
It was like, a big bad monster that you didn't want to go near.
Oh, sure.
And then once I started going towards Manhattan, I started falling in love with just everything about it. The architecture rather, and the food, and it.
How old were you at that time?
I think I was like 22 or 23. So I was still fairly young.
But yeah, that is young. And I'm asking because do you think maybe the cooking and maybe you started to get like an appreciation for like arts in a way?
Not really. I mean, well, I started getting more into that because my wife was very heavily into photography and art and things like that.
Well, how long have you been married?
We just had 7 years. We don't keep track, honestly. We're terrible at it.
I like that.
Yeah, when we were in Vegas last week, it was like our 7 years together as like boyfriend and girlfriend.
But
out.
during the time in Manhattan, you were with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was
You were
commuting.
married?
No, I think we were dating. We were just living together and dating, and then I think like 3 or 4 months later we got married.
And she's not a chef?
No, we met in culinary school, and then she was working in the veterinary field. And when we graduated, she worked at a news publication called Newsday. It's in New York.
Okay.
And she was working there cooking. And then after that, she was like, I can't really make any money as a cook. She did the smart thing and was like, I'm going to stick with the veterinary field.
Right. But you're drawn to it.
Yeah.
So obviously you guys support each other. Is she involved with the Brooklyn Breakfast Shop?
Yes and no. We're just pretty much...
For financial reasons?
No, not so much financial reasons. She's going to probably be working, doing her thing, and I'm still going to be working what I'm doing now.
Are you getting sorry, I'm going off. I'm just curious, with the trailer, is it just going to be you right now, or do you have a partner?
No, it's just me. I'm the sole owner.
Okay.
I'm going to have...
You're the sole owner. I meant partner. Do you have help?
I'm going to be hiring like at least one person to start.
Okay.
Probably on a part-time to full-time basis, depending on how business goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a big thing to unfold that I'm wanting to ask about. Like, are you looking at a commissary kitchen? But we don't need to get into all the...
I do have one lined up. But
okay, all right. Yeah, it's a lot, man. The food. So you're in New York. You're in Manhattan though, and you mentioned, some places you got to cook at were pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I was working in Brooklyn for a really, really well-known chef from Top Chef called Dale Talday.
Okay.
And I worked for him for a few months, but the commute was just killing me, so I couldn't do it anymore. It was from like Long Island to Brooklyn. It was like 2 hours each way.
How was that experience?
That was great. I worked under this really great chef named Bun Kem. I'm not sure where he's at now, but he was running Dale Talday's main restaurant called Talday.
Okay.
And the restaurant that I was working in actually ended up going under like 2 years ago, which is kind of unfortunate.
Sure, yeah.
But it was great. Like, I learned a good amount of stuff over there. It's just I didn't have a long enough experience to really talk about it in a sense. I was there for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Pretty much I worked in the Freedom Tower, which is like the new Twin Towers.
Okay.
And I opened up that kitchen, and it was cooking for Condé Nast, which is one of the largest publications in the world.
Right.
They do like Vogue, Vanity Fair,
Wow.
Bon Appetit, all the big name
That is big
publications,
names.
Wired.
Okay. So you're cooking for that company?
Yeah, so I was cooking specifically for their employees. It was like 1,200 people daily.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was a lot of prep. I had like 14 cooks, like 5 front
What's
of house.
that like?
It's a grind.
How high up were you?
I was on the 35th floor.
Okay, wow.
And the 34th floor was the executive dining room, which is where I cooked for I ran the executive dining room. It was for a lot of celebrities, a lot of people in the fashion industry.
Sure.
A lot of bigwigs. And Anna Wintour, I'm not sure if you're familiar with her.
No.
She's like the queen of Vogue.
Okay.
If you've ever seen Devil Wears Prada, the Meryl Streep movie, pretty much the person who portrays Meryl Streep is a real person.
Right.
And that's who I cooked for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll elevate your game.
Yeah.
Put you on your toes, right?
It was like the same thing every single day. And then her guests were getting what she ordered. So there were a lot of celebrities that came in. I never got to meet them, unfortunately, but it was cool that I got to cook for them.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. But when you're sending out a plate there, your attention to detail on the plate's got to be...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be very anal about
I could have gotten
happening.
fired, just for one little slip up.
Right.
Feeding an executive of the company, someone who's very high up there. I could have been fired with one mess up.
So that's, right, in retrospect, really good experience, right?
Yeah, it definitely helped me mentally just kind of like break down the dynamic of my style. You know,
Right.
I was always trying to grow as a chef. That was my first sous chef position. So I still didn't really know anything. I barely knew anything at that point. So I got to mess around with a lot of different things. I got to order special ingredients and just really play with them.
And that you liked it. I mean, you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, it was great. I did it for 3 years.
Okay. So if I took you right now and threw you over there and said you're doing that tomorrow, not what you're doing now, would you be all about it, or are you
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely.
What is it?
I'm
The
over it
stress?
now. Yeah, it just got, you're going in at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't just doing that. I was also overseeing the cafe, which fed, like I said, 1,200 people.
Yeah.
I was also doing catering. I
That
was
in
running
itself,
catering.
right, is a lot.
Yeah, you're literally overseeing 14 cooks, making sure they're not screwing up, or they're, you're watching them, making sure they don't go to the bathroom with their gloves on.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
And then, you got to deal with paperwork, between scheduling, menu writing, food costs. They did this thing called, it was called KOGA, and it was just cost analysis, cost of goods analysis, basically, and it does it for you. It's just a finances spreadsheet. So you had to monitor that, make sure your food cost is good, make sure your sales are good.
Man, what's it like getting an order delivered on the 35th floor?
It's I mean, of that building, you can't get in there. Security is so tight.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, we used to have a guy come in, sharpen our knives, and
Oh, really?
and he would have to go through security. He'd have to put his knives through the conveyor belts. We'd have to schedule it within a week's time, every single time.
There's a place downtown that I go to that I personally go through a similar process, but there is no conveyor belt. But it takes me...
It's like an X-ray conveyor belt.
Yeah, it takes me a half hour to get in, just to get in through security. And I'm like, don't you remember me? It's okay. I'm trying to get home.
Yeah.
But
it was, getting into that building was a nightmare. Getting deliveries in, it was
okay.
It
So
was
that must
daunting.
I'm going to accept that situation then, because they've been telling me we're going to get you some kind of badge and things are going to change. But I can. So curious. We see all these tech places going up with like a similar kind of. Not that level.
It's corporate dining.
Corporate dining.
Yeah.
What? Any thought? I know that you're going to do the trailer, but any kind of thought towards doing something down here like that?
I thought about it
Because we are like, they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, and I had a couple. Actually the sous chef over at Bar Peached. He actually came from Oracle. He was in charge of one of their kitchens.
Okay.
So he told me about it, and he was like, "It's a nightmare." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been there. I know.
Okay,
I've been to those.
stressful.
It's just
It's
you're
not as-
constantly on your toes. You're not just answering to
Is Oracle the guys in Facebook or Google?
Oracle is Oracle. It's what do? They do like microchips.
Oh.
They're like a microchip company.
Oh, so okay. I was thinking Oracle was one of these like catering or
No,
corporate
Oracle
kitchens
is I forget the name of the company that he worked for in Oracle.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
I had that
Yeah.
backwards. Oh, now Oracle I can picture. There's
It's
a
right
building.
on Riverside.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So okay. And I've heard that. Okay. And I know some of those guys, and I like them. But I've heard things, right? And I heard it's not always a cakewalk.
No, it's not, because you're not just answering to your boss. You're answering to the boss of the company that you're cooking for,
Right.
and their bosses and their bosses and their bosses.
And so, as someone who's developed, a taste for culinary arts, you want to be creative.
Of course.
And when you're being creative and it's like, all right, let's send it through this check, it's got to go through that checkpoint, then that checkpoint, eventually you're like, okay, forget it. We'll just stick to the menu, right?
Yeah, trying to be creative for people who have money and they don't know what to do with it is kind of like soul crushing. Because you write this, what I used to do is I would write a whole menu for the executives at Condé Nast. And then they would just say, we don't want that.
Yeah.
It's all prepped, it's all meased out, it's all ready to go. And then it's like, we want something different.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you should have asked for that 2 hours ago when I gave you the menu initially. Not when you sit down and say, you know what? I think I want salmon instead of chicken, or I don't want the steak.
We've touched on this a little on this podcast, specifically with Chef Matthew Frederick. He's at Vanilla Orchid Catering, which is more of a mom and pop, but he came from more corporate setup, and he said what you're saying, and it's interesting. I wonder if I'll encounter someone who enjoys, creating a menu where it gets shot down by people who really don't know what they're talking about. Because it's like, right, why would you? It's
soul crushing. It's like I spent all this time, trying to testing it out and just really putting it into fruition, and then it's just like, yeah, we don't want it.
So let's say you walk into somebody who's in those shoes right now, who's just experienced that, right? He's sitting right here, and we magically appear in front of this guy, and they just told him no. But he was all night making it. He was proud of it. What do you got any advice for that guy?
Take it in stride. Just try to write a menu that they're looking for. Ask them what they want.
Okay, it's not
what you want. It's what they want in that reality.
But it's
sucks.
Not get out of this situation.
Yeah. Well, that's like most of catering too. It's like, they're paying you a premium. They're paying you, a boatload of money. You could opt some things to them, and they're just going to be like, you know what, I want this instead.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of got to be a yes man or a yes woman.
Right.
A yes person.
And we talked about this a little bit. I think before we even started. But being like a yes man, it's kind of easy when you're cooking for people, and like customer service approach. When you go talk to your guest or whoever you're cooking for, it's kind of easy to be like, yeah, I'll change this for you. But I guess on that level, it's way different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it goes hand in hand, because if you're just, presenting food to somebody, because we do, when I was at Peach, we did tastings all the time. And there would be times where, you go to a tasting, they pick out a menu, and you go to the tasting and they taste it, and they're like, you know what, I'm not really crazy about that. Can we do this instead? It's like, okay, that's no problem. It doesn't hurt my feelings a whole lot.
Right, yeah.
But, like, what were your reasons for not liking it? You try to get more in depth. It's like I had this bride. We were doing a tasting for, a wedding, a future wedding. And when I was at Peached, I did something for them, and, the bride didn't tell me that she doesn't really like the texture of pork belly. So
you had like pork banh mi's or something?
No, it was one of their pork belly bites. It's like Japanese barbecue, cilantro, and caramelized pineapple on a little square of pork belly. It's
like a kind of
really delicious. Yeah, it's an hors d'oeuvre. Yeah. And it's a great one biter. And the bride spit it out into her napkin in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Do you not like it?" She goes, "No, I love the flavors. I love the Polynesian feel of it. I just don't like the texture of pork belly." I said, "Okay." that's fine. I can understand that, because my wife is the same way.
Yeah.
If it's too fatty, but that's pork belly.
Right.
And she was like a pastry chef at Italic, I think. So
who?
I don't remember her name. It was months
Dylan,
and months
Dylan.
ago.
Don't say it was Dylan.
No. It was months ago. It had to be probably almost a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like the sous chef or the pastry chef at Italic.
Okay. Not Chef Andrew's wife.
I really don't remember.
Okay.
It was I just remember that one little nugget of information.
Yeah.
It was just funny though. I was like, "Did you not like it?" She goes, "No, I loved it. I just don't like the texture."
Right. Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, that's a fair assessment. Fair, reason. I can get behind that."
Yeah.
I just wish she didn't spit it out in front of me.
Sure. Fuck yeah. I mean, so you get over what? I'm curious. What brought you from that, situation in Manhattan to want to come to Austin?
Pretty much, I was tired of the hustle and bustle of New York.
We did talk about, what the things you were fed up with, but why
there was
Austin?
There was more. So my job was moving me around a lot. I was working at different locations. I was never anywhere for more than like a week or two. And it was getting really tiring. It was, straining on me. And they put me somewhere where it was just an awful situation. The workers were terrible. They were all unionized. And everything was, that's not my job.
Ooh.
And they were all seniority.
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
God.
It was like, hey, do me a favor. Can you cut this for this person? No, that's not my job. And union would have their back. And so that means as a manager,
for recipe is under disaster.
yeah,
right?
it was just a nightmare.
That's
The place
not
was
my
infested. It was disgusting. Every day, just roaches everywhere.
Oh,
And that was what I had to look forward to every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then work until sometimes 10 at night.
yeah.
And it just got really draining. And I ended up getting hurt. I ended up getting overworked to the point where I actually pulled a hernia.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know I had a hernia. I was just
I don't
working with
think-
it.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever. Maybe if you're really in tune with your body and you're like an athlete, you would identify a
I
hernia.
thought it was a kidney infection because
But
I
it hurt,
felt,
right?
I felt the most pain in my lower back and in my butt cheeks, basically.
Oh, okay.
As my doctor put it.
Sure.
And I worked for like 3 weeks with this pain.
Tell
and,
me you got like a workers' compensation.
Well, that's a story for another day, but
Yeah.
no. So I ended up getting hurt. I worked for 3 weeks without going to the doctor. Finally went to the doctor. The doctor's like, "You need to have surgery tomorrow."
Wow. Yeah.
He's like, pretty much your intestines are going into your testicles.
Oh.
And that was like the worst. And I was crying almost every day. Like I was in so much pain, and I'd have to walk a mile to get to my job, to get to this place that I hated. So it was even more, and it was like winter, and it was just a recipe for just a nightmare.
But you went into surgery.
I went into surgery a week or two after.
A week or two after when he said
I
it
still
needs
worked,
to be
yeah.
the next day.
Because I had to go see another doctor because he was just a regular physician. I had to go see an actual surgeon.
Sure.
So I was out for about 6 or 8 weeks. I was drugged up the whole time,
Sure.
bedridden. I couldn't move, couldn't do anything on my own. My wife was freaking out about me being home by myself. I couldn't even stand up to pee.
Oh, yeah. That's rough.
And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. It was probably one of the worst times of my life.
Yeah.
And when I initially got hurt, the company that I spent 5 years with, this corporate company, they didn't want to pay. I got hurt on the job. They fought me on it because I was in a different location. I wasn't in the Freedom Tower at that point. And it was that same guy who got mad at me for calling out on a snow-ridden day.
Gosh.
So he didn't like me from there, and he was like, "We're not going to foot the bill for you." So I went to a lawyer, and I ended up pretty much threatening them to the point where they had to pay for my surgery and give me workers' comp.
Well, good.
And I got it, but I still have pains to this day. It's been like 2 years, over 2 years now, and I
Wow.
still have awful pains.
Man, there's nothing like, get bedridden. You can't move around.
It's depressing.
Depressing. I mean, I don't know what time of year it was, but that
It was
also.
April, so it's like in New York, so it's still cold.
It's still cold. Yeah, you start to see the sun a little bit, and then it makes you more depressed because you feel like crap and you can't go out there.
Well, that's what brought me to Austin. Was I had paid for a whole vacation to come to San Antonio, Texas, and I found out that I needed surgery and I was going to be out. So I was like, I'm not going to waste my birthday and my vacation money and my vacation just sitting around. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to go. I took my brother, my 2 friends, and my wife, paid for all of them, and we came down to San Antonio. And we spent maybe 5 minutes in Austin, and
5
literally
minutes?
5 minutes in Austin.
Okay.
And that was just to go to the airport.
Okay, wow.
And my wife and I just loved the whole vibe, the whole feel, and it was just pretty much I was tired and I was pissed off at my job, and I was looking for another job. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this company. I'm tired of being run into the ground every day, and it's what happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
I got hurt because I wasn't taking the time to take care of myself.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things for cooks and chefs is just take the time out. If anyone will preach it, I'll preach it. Just do some, me time, even if it's like one day a week.
We've mentioned that before here too, and it's important.
It
and
is.
Every time someone brings it up, it's important. And when you get people working under you, you check in on them, make sure everybody's
Definitely.
good.
Always.
Yeah, it's not. Or you're going to find yourself in your shoes a couple years ago.
Like I didn't know what was going on. I just kind of kept working with it and just like literally in tears every day until the point of my wife was like, "You have to go see the doctor."
Yeah, that's rough.
That's the life though.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a day off in the culinary industry.
There is not.
You're almost like looked at as a freak if you take a day, if you request a day off or you want a vacation. Everyone's like, "Day off? What's that like?"
Yeah.
You're working 6-7 days a week. Your day off is what your chef or your boss tells you to take off.
Sure.
No requests. So it's like, that's one of the things I would love to change in this industry.
Yeah.
Is just taking that time out, like taking care of your people.
Maybe not as quick as we'd like, but I think I do see like a progression
There is.
towards
There's more
pay
laws
changing
being
and-
put into place, which is great.
But we also we ride a fine line with that. It's true, right? We don't want to work somebody to that point, but the people in the back of the house do have like creative, self-destructive, pirate ship
Bad
kind
habits.
of bad habits mentality. That's or a rogue. There's an aspect to the kitchen that it's kind of like there's a line there. It's like, well, if we make this 9 to 5 and everything's all good, and you go take your lunch now, and you're going to come back in a half hour, an hour, and whatever it is.
There's no such thing as breaks either. And
No such thing as breaks, but like, what do we do to that guy? That creative. Do we? I don't know, because it's a little.
it is definitely a fine line in a gray area, and it's becoming more prominent in more progressive cities, and we are a progressive city,
And it could be better, right?
It could be better. There's a lot of the problem is we have a lot of mom and pop shops. Restaurants are owned by people who they don't have that. It's not a corporation. They're not expendable. They're not. And that's the thing where it's like you have these laws that were being put into place in Austin that directly affects small business owners. And it was a conversation I had with Eric when they were trying to enforce paid sick days.
Oh, sick days. Okay.
They were trying to enforce mandatory sick days. You get I think it was 5 days a year paid.
Yeah.
But, when you have a really terrible employee who just, either calls out all the time, it's like, why should we pay them? It's
right, abuses it.
Yeah, they abused the right, and it ended up getting turned over, which is kind of unfortunate for the city, but it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah. So you guys came here and you really enjoyed it and you were looking for a change, but you said you spent like 5 minutes here and you were in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So Texas in general, you kind of liked the vibe?
Yeah, everything about it was just, we were walking around San Antonio and we were just trying to get a feel for the streets and kind of just walk around, just really enjoy the nature aspect of it. And it's just 2 guys standing on a fence talking, look over at us. How you guys doing today? It's like, I'm sorry, what do you need? It's like, oh, what are you guys doing? You just walking around? It's like, yeah, I don't have any money if that's what you're, that's the mentality.
That's classic.
But it was just these friendly people,
right.
And you don't have that. You don't have that relationship with your neighbors, It's just, it doesn't exist in New York.
Oh, it's the same for Chicago. I can completely relate. It's like when I said when I go back, I'm used to going to like HEB. I was there before we did this today to pick these up, and you have a quick conversation with the person that you're, even if it's just a transaction.
Yeah,
real quick, real
Everyone's
casual,
super friendly.
And if you go and this has happened to me, I'm just used to that. I'm in this, and you go back. I go back to Chicago every December. And you get off the plane, it almost immediately this like mug face, and then the first time you talk to somebody, 537 is your change.
Yeah, and that's I visited New York after living here for like 8 months.
Yeah,
and I went back home, and I was just walking through the city, just trying to see as many people as possible. Which after one day of seeing a good friend of mine, I was like, all right, everyone else can go fuck off. I was like, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. I just stayed, because my parents are.
You
in Long
made a good
Island.
choice. You felt.
I saw 2 really good friends of mine, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
That's I spent the day with a good friend of mine. We got food.
I mean, you're looking for
got
quality.
ice cream.
Right, yeah.
It's just spending 2 hours with somebody. It's I definitely miss a lot of people back home, but
Sure. But the power of social media is very nice for those.
It is. It definitely is. I still keep in contact with a lot of people, people who are very supportive of what I'm doing, and they're embracing what I'm doing, which is great.
Yeah, and I think what you're doing here right now is awesome. And so you get here, you make the change, you move.
Well, it was a little more drawn out than that. It was kind of like, I was looking. It was like right after my surgery, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna look for a job. I reached out to a couple of recruiters because that's like a thing. It's like here you walk into a restaurant and that's how you get your job. In New York, you have to go through a recruiter who goes through a company, and it's like, it takes like weeks.
Was the job market?
It's flooded.
It's flooded.
It's so oversaturated.
Okay, so here it's really nice that you get to walk in and get a job wherever you want.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's more restaurants than restaurant workers.
Right.
And that's the mentality.
A lot of turnover right now. A lot of people are looking for help, and it's
not there. It's just not. The market's not there.
Right. Well, you can't. And we were already talking about it. I mean, a lot of people aren't getting paid a lot, and then they're working a lot. So it's why do that?
That's the thing. It's like, why are you going to work for an industry that doesn't take care of you?
Yeah.
And that's where the change needs to be. But I digress on that.
Yeah.
So I was looking for another job in Manhattan, and I had a really great opportunity working for some phenomenal chefs, and it didn't work out.
Sure.
So I was bummed. I was just pissed off. I think I was back in town for a month at that point from San Antonio, and I called up my bank. I said, I need a $4,000 loan, and they said, okay, we'll give it to you in 2 days. I called my wife up. I said, hey, we're moving. She said, where? I said, I don't know. We'll figure it out when I get home later. And then
you say, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I spoke to my boss, who was another mentor of mine, and he, for years, would be like, he was like an old school French guy. He worked in Michelin restaurants in France.
Wow.
And he was just the general manager. He wasn't a chef. He was just like very old school French, and I love that guy to death because he's the one who brought me here. He was just like, if I was you, I would have left years ago. He goes, if I was 20 years younger, I would get the fuck out of New York. Mm-hmm. He's like, you need to get out, start a family, just really start your career, get some, New York is dead. And it was just him pushing me for like weeks just to really drill into my head, you know what? Fuck it. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And he was probably the happiest person out of all of it because I was a miserable human being.
Right.
And
well, that's good though.
It really opened a lot of doors.
Yeah. It sounds like he is a little with some life experience, maybe a little wiser than it sounds at face.
Everywhere. He's lived in Africa, South Africa, France.
Pushing
America.
you like that. Look at you now. I mean, obviously, I didn't see you in New York, but you seem happy here.
I'm definitely in a different mindset here. In New York, it was just grind.
Yeah.
It was got to pay bills, got to do this. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a catering company on my days off.
But you feel like you've slowed down a little bit, right?
I've definitely turned around.
Well, you needed so you moved, right? Sometimes people need that.
It took like 3 weeks for everything to come into place, but we literally left. I told one of my really good friends, I was like, I've known him for probably 15 years. My buddy Eric, he works over at Brewer's Table. I told him, hey, we're leaving. We're moving. And he goes, you guys are leaving without me? And he's like, can I come? And I was like, fuck yeah, you want to come? Looked at my wife, and she's like, you should totally take the trip with us. You need to change your pace also. He was in the industry for like a year and a half, and he was just miserable in New York. And he came down here, and he worked at Emmer and Rye for a year or so. He's now at Brewer's Table, and he's doing like what he wants to do. He's doing like fermentation, and he's streamlining all that with them, which is great. And it's just sometimes you just need that change.
Yeah, I'd agree. Sometimes you move for the wrong reasons, but you guys did for the right reasons.
Yeah.
When you first got here, so coming from a place like New York, what initially did you like for the cuisine and like the restaurants you were seeing? Is there anything that sticks out or still? I ask everybody, they're like where they like to eat.
Of course,
it's valuable information if you need a place to eat. So maybe some, but also. I want to know that, but right when you got here, is there anything that like stuck out immediately as just awesome next level stuff that you really were attracted to?
Well, coming from New York, it's like pizza.
Yeah.
You can't get that you can't get a New York style sliced pizza.
So what do you think of Via 313?
I love Via 313.
Okay, me too.
I love the, everyone shits on the Detroit style pizza. They're like, so it's not real. It's
just grab a corner
Detroit
piece.
Style.
Just grab a corner
Shut
piece.
the fuck up and eat it. It's delicious.
It's so good.
It's a good fucking, and my buddy who's a pizzaiola in New York, he's the one who told me about Via 313.
Okay.
He's been like all over, the U.S. and all he does is eat pizza.
Yeah.
Like he cooks pizza, eats pizza. He's just crazy as fuck when it comes to pizza. So he's the one who told me about it.
I could be in his shoes.
Yeah, just eat pizza every day.
Yeah.
And he's only a vegetarian, but when it comes to pepperoni, he makes exceptions.
Okay.
It's a very funny guy.
Yeah, man.
And I love Via. I still, even working at Peached, I still ate there. When Bar Peached opened up, they sent me a friends and family, and I went over there, enjoyed the food. I'm big into ramen. I love ramen tatsuya. I love pho please for their banh mi's. And these dudes at Discata
Yeah, you were telling me.
they do one taco and one taco only. That's it.
What is the taco?
It's so Discata loosely translate to discarded
Okay.
in Spanish. So they take like beef cheeks and other things and just like cook them down for hours. And
Okay.
it's like the most insane. And they do like this
Where are
habanero
they
salsa.
located?
They're on it's 11th, I think.
On the east side?
On the east side, it's I always forget the address.
There's like Blue Dahlia. There's Hillside Pharmacy.
I love Hillside.
Old
It's like further
Thousands.
down.
Oh, it's further down.
It's
Oh, so it's way down.
I really don't remember the address.
Sure.
It's gonna piss me off.
It's
but-
past Hillside and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like it's close to the
Like Chacon?
There's like a middle school over there.
Okay.
No, it's not Chacon. It's you could take Chacon to get there. I just don't remember the address.
Sure.
But it's a little food trailer. These dudes are like
You see what I mean? Valuable
Killing it.
information. I'll be going there.
you definitely should. And they do just like I said, one taco. They do a habanero salsa with it, and they do elote, like a little cup. They're shucking corn. They're not getting that frozen shit.
Nice.
They're like actually shucking corn, and it takes like 5 minutes for them to like heat up, do everything, and it's little taquitos. They're like $1.75,
Yeah.
and they're my go-to. I love those guys,
Cool, cool.
and they've been open for like a year, and they're blowing up.
So that's something you've discovered.
Yeah, I found them like a while ago, and what's funny is I told Edgar from Peach Tortilla, formerly at Peach Tortilla, now at Nixta, opening Nixta.
It's very ironic. Hold that thought that we've had Richard, Michael, all just by coincidence. Now you're vet from Peach Tortilla or Social House, and then
yeah,
Edgar.
it's still the umbrella social house.
Yeah, and all you guys are coming on the podcast. In a way, it should be like
A reunion.
a reunion, or I was going to say it should just change the name of the podcast. But you
Peach
guys
Tortilla
are.
all day.
But you know what? I really, and I hope this doesn't sound corny because I've thought about it. Because Michael was on here, and then Richard was on here, and there's just this like, I don't know how to pinpoint or describe like with words what it is that Eric's created, but it's very positive.
It's an empire.
Empire.
It's an empire.
But when you get on here and you talk about, and then Edgar's coming on, you guys are all like in this great place. And I feel like it, in a way, it stemmed a little from him.
I mean, he definitely breeds a good work mentality.
Yeah.
It's just, he's always been a positive person, like for as long as I knew him.
Yeah, I think I can
Eric,
tell
and
that.
he's just, he'll come in, he'll literally just like crack on you, shit on you, make a joke, and then when it's time to be serious, he can sit down and just have a good conversation.
Yeah, that's good.
He was a good boss. He takes care of his people, and that's the thing. That's what you need. You need someone who will
It is
take
what you
care
need. That's
of
and
people.
that's what we're touching on a couple of
Just
times.
full
here.
circle.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So Edgar, sorry.
Well, I had seen Discata in an Eater article, and I was like, yo, you
sure.
should check these people out. Like,
Yeah.
I want to check them out. So I told him about it, and he's like now best friends with them.
Oh, great.
He's doing like what
that-
did he do?
that
He did
wasn't
like
hard.
Live Fire, I think he did with them. And
He's doing the Hot Luck this week.
He's doing Hot Luck. Isn't it tomorrow
I thought it started today.
or today? Today probably.
Yeah.
And he did Food and Wine. He's killing it. He's doing great things, and he has a great background.
I'm really
He was-
excited. He's going to come. Is it his fiance or his
I
wife?
think his girlfriend. I don't.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I believe so.
All right, no pressure there
Yeah, right.
for when he does get on here,
Yeah.
but he's going to bring her on.
And she's great too.
Cool. So Nixta, they started.
Nixta. And I worked with him for a year. I worked under him. He was
Super
my
cool dude.
executive sous chef when I was a sous chef, and
Yeah.
we got along great. We butt heads here and there, mainly because of me. But he's very talented.
Sure.
I can never say a bad thing about the guy. He's very talented,
Sure, yeah.
and he's doing great things now.
Yeah.
When he told me he was actually one of the reasons why I decided to quit and open up a food trailer, because he was like, yeah, I'm looking to open up my own restaurant, and I got like kind of jealous, and I'm like, I want to do something. I want to open up my own thing. I'm tired of working for people.
I remember when talking to both of you.
Yeah, it was like back in September of last year when he told me,
Sure.
and the initial plan was for me to take over his position. Then I was like, fuck it, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah. How long do you think that was like manifesting in you? Because like Eric says, he'd be silly to not let an entrepreneur like go.
Yeah.
But when did that start like brewing?
For me,
Yeah.
when I heard that Edgar was opening his own restaurant, I thought about it, and I was like, I don't know if I could ever do that. I'm like, I don't have the financials for it. I don't have, I was beating myself up. I was like, I don't have the chops for it.
Yeah.
And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized why I moved to Austin was not to work for somebody else. It was to do my own thing, to be a productive
To spread your
chef.
wings and
I
fly.
wanted to, I wanted to just do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I dwelled on it for a while. Like, what could I do?
Sure.
And I was very friendly with this chef. She has a trailer called Puli Ra, and I became very friendly with her. And she was just like, what would you do? What would you do? What would you do? And I'm just like, I don't fucking know. Like, I have no idea. And then I finally just, it dawned on me. I think I was really drunk one night, and I was talking about it, about breakfast sandwiches, and it just like dawned on me. And the next day, when I was like actually sober, I'm like, I think I'm gonna open up a breakfast trailer.
Right.
I'm like, I want a breakfast sandwich, and I can't get one. There's like 2 places that do it in the city.
And who are they? Birds.
You got Bird Biscuit.
So they do it.
They make a fucking great biscuit.
Okay. Who else are you going to mention? Because I got somebody else.
Paperboy.
Oh yeah, Paperboy's good. But Easy Tiger Link.
Did they do breakfast sandwiches?
They do.
Okay.
And they're fucking good.
I like Easy Tiger bread.
Yeah, Easy Tiger. Check it out. I don't know if they opened a new one on 35, off 35. It's called Link. And I think the shopping mall is called Link, but it's called Easy Tiger Link.
Oh, you're talking about the one on Chavez. The one inside like Fairgrounds.
No, not Fairgrounds. Not Fairgrounds, not 6th Street. Another one. It's a newer spot. Yeah, it's called Easy Tiger Link. You'll see, I'll send you the address, but their pastrami breakfast sandwich is
That sounds good.
it's off the chain. One of the guys over there who makes that pastrami, he's going to hop on here. I got to message him. But so back to your breakfast, the Brooklyn breakfast shop. When you said like a breakfast sandwich, tell me about a Brooklyn breakfast sandwich that drunken stupor.
It's just bacon, egg, and cheese.
Okay.
You go anywhere in New York, and you're like, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. What do you want, on a bagel or a roll? I want on a roll.
So most people could compare this to an Egg McMuffin.
Yes.
But not.
No.
But not.
I mean, pretty much what I'm going to be doing is
Well, you're working with farms, and you're working with organic or local products.
Yeah, I'm going to be curing and smoking my own bacon.
Awesome.
I'm going to be grinding my own sausage. Like I said, I'm going to have vegan options, vegetarian options. It's all going to be there. I'm actually also, I was thinking about this for quite a while if I really wanted to do it, but I'm actually going to be doing pastries also.
Yeah.
When I was at Condé Nast, I was dubbed the unofficial pastry chef.
Sure.
So I always had to make
What's your
desserts.
ideas for the pastries?
I want to do like New York style pastries. Like Linzer tarts are very old school, and I have a phenomenal recipe that I used to make at Condé Nast, and I used to sell out of them.
Sure.
And I also learned from an old school Italian woman how to make 7-layer cookies, also known as rainbow cookies. And they're literally just, it's like a layered sponge cakes with jelly. That's all it is, covered in chocolate.
Ooh,
And
jelly's good.
I'm sure you've seen them in Chicago. It's like a 7-layer cookie. It's like old school Italian.
Man, I may have if I
You've
see
definitely had one. It's my all-time favorite dessert cookie, hands down everything. And I learned how to make them.
Yeah.
And I years ago I learned how to make them, and I used to make them all the time in New York, and my cooks used to eat them before I could really sell them. It was like awful.
Yeah.
I'd make like a whole tray, and it'd be like 100 of them, and then there'd be like 40 missing. So they're out of this world, and I'm going to be doing things like that.
Yeah, that's good. So you said you've got some vendors you kind of are tight with, or that you'd work with.
Yeah, like House Bar Dorsey is great. I definitely want to start working with her more. I've done a couple things, working, getting her produce, and I've done tours of her farm. She has like animals. She got donkeys.
Yeah.
It's like she actually wrote a children's book about the goose that she has on her farm.
Oh yeah.
So
what's the name of the book?
I don't remember. I think it came out a few months ago. I have like an awful memory.
So the farm is
House Bar.
House Bar. So anybody Google that.
Yeah.
You'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Children's book?
She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram.
Oh, I'm interested.
She's amazing. Like what she does. I believe she was like a former chef.
Okay.
And then she just decided to like just have an urban farm.
Yeah.
And she has some phenomenal produce.
Right.
Just local to Texas.
Sure.
Things that grow on the street that you could literally pick up and eat, like wood sorrel.
Yeah.
She just grows it and just sells it.
So you're going to, so the vegan options, I'm curious, is that too, do you have any history with like vegan, or are you just used to catering to vegan, or is it?
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
So my brother is actually vegan. He's been
Okay.
vegan for about four or 5 years now. Working at Condé Nast, I was working with a lot of people with a lot of dietary restrictions.
Oh yeah, when you're rich and famous, right?
Or you work for a huge publication that's Vogue and fashion and all that stuff, so you got to like really watch what you eat type of place.
Yeah, no gluten.
No gluten, vegan options, raw,
Right. Yeah. Raw.
steamed, not roasted, no oil, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I got accustomed to it, but I've always been intrigued. I love vegetables.
Yeah.
As you can tell by my artichoke and radish tattoos.
Yeah. So just check the Austin All Day podcast Instagram for those.
Right.
They'll be on there.
But I've always loved vegetables. Like as a kid, I hated peas. Hated them because they were always mushy. They were always frozen.
That's lima beans for me.
Yeah. And when you're an adult, you're just like, oh, I hate those things. And then you realize that you've never had them fresh.
Yeah.
You've never picked them out of a friggin' garden and just,
Thanks, Mom. Thanks,
yeah, right.
Dad. Right.
Like they ruined Brussels sprouts for me my whole life.
Right,
And then as an
yeah.
adult, I'm like, I love Brussels sprouts.
Right. I did. Dude, every night almost.
Asparagus. I hated it as a kid, but I love it now. It's because they always made it like overcooked it and
Yeah.
got it frozen. And we had farms in New York. There were tons of farms.
Right.
So it's like you had the access to it, but it's like, both your parents are working full time, taking care of 2 kids.
Yeah. Got to give them props.
Easy access,
Sure.
frozen shit. So, but as an adult, I always try to like push them to eat more like fresh vegetables and not overcook them.
Your folks?
Yeah.
And how do they, are they receptive?
No. Not by
Really?
any circumstance.
Oh no. They're not like
And-
progressing with the time.
No. And then my brother's a vegan and he's like shoving all his crap down their throats, So
Yeah.
they did not, it's not well received.
Maybe they're just tuning it out at that point.
Yeah. I mean, they're up there. They're just, set in their ways
Sure.
like most parents.
So with the vegan, with the protein, just curious because we'll have vegans listening. What's your approach to that? Are you going to buy like a pre-made, like a Gardein or like a whatever the protein might be? Or are you going to make something?
Everything is going to be chef driven, made from scratch.
So what would you do in the case of making like a chicken sausage or just a sausage?
So the concept behind what I want to do, like I said, it's going to be interchangeable. So
Yeah.
one of the sandwiches that I've actually created that I think is going to be the first one I do off the bat, it's actually I take portobello mushrooms and I smoke them, and then I roast them. And my brother had a really great idea about like just really hard searing them so they get a little crispy, almost like a sausage patty.
Yeah.
But it's like a faux sausage. It's
Sure.
mushroom sausage.
No seasoning on it.
Probably minimal. Just season it, maybe marinate it, and then just like smoke it.
Okay.
That way you get that feel.
Yeah.
It's gonna have like wilted bitter greens on it. Definitely avocado because we're in the avocado generation.
Yeah. But they're good.
Yeah.
They're healthy.
I actually hated avocados up until like a year ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was a texture thing for me. And then like I started eating more of it and more of it. And now I'm just like, all right, I got to be that millennial.
Man, it depends on where you get your avocados. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Because you can get crap avocados, but if you get a good avocado, like a Haas avocado,
I'm a Whole Food snob. So
you go to Whole Foods?
Yeah.
I frequent there. That's
I love Whole Foods.
every Friday, pretty much.
Yeah, for me, it's whenever I have a day off.
Yeah, and that's typically just like when it ends up. But I go, and their prices have changed. Now,
Yeah, they've gone down again.
Yeah. Have you? Their chicken is really good.
I'm actually not. I don't eat chicken
At all?
at all.
Is there a reason?
It's just poorly treated in this country.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just always friggin' slimy.
So there is a
and-
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
well, that's the thing about the Whole Foods chain. It's not like slimy and weird. Like I had a weird phobia that's documented on this podcast till recently that I couldn't even go through like the section, poultry, the whole thing, because I was a vegetarian for years.
Oh, wow, I didn't
or
know
a
that.
pescatarian. I ate fish, but I didn't eat meat.
Yeah.
Right, and then I started with bacon.
Of course.
Which was comical to some, but
Yeah.
it makes sense, right? Why not start with that?
just caution to the wind.
But I could not go and buy chicken.
It's just so horribly treated in this country.
Yeah.
It's just like I used to get cases of like 40-pound cases of chicken, and half of them would be like bloody.
Ugh.
Like it looks like they got like clawed by a wolverine and just shredded. And it's like, this is what you're selling me? This is shit.
Right.
I would get so mad whenever I had a case of chicken in New York.
Sure.
Down here it's a little different, but
yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad we're having this conversation because I recently, sucked it up and I went to Whole Foods where it was way more approachable.
yeah.
And it was not nearly as hectic to see. But so what's your protein of choice for your own consumption?
I love duck.
Okay, duck.
I love duck. I think it's between duck and lamb for my favorite protein, and then like I love ostrich too.
Okay. So
I used to get a lot of ostrich in New York.
And does any of that have to do with the fact that like they're not like mass produced animals, that are being harvested and poorly treated?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends where you get them from. You have to like really look into things, which is kind
when
of
you compare it to a chicken or
when you're
a
like
cow.
a normal consumer. Yeah, if you're not like cooking for a living and you know where to go or know what to look for,
right.
Things of that nature. Like ducks, I've never had any issues with any duck I've ever eaten in my life. Like, they're treated fairly well.
Sure.
Minus the force feeding for foie gras, but
right. And what's your take on foie gras?
I like it.
Yeah.
You can't not like it.
Will it be on the menu?
No. But I will be doing my buddy who moved here with us. I'm trying to get him to join me. And because he's big into,
This
fermentation.
is this chef you were talking about from years ago.
No, my buddy from who moved here with us.
Oh, from
with
the
me and my wife. Yeah, he's working at Brewer's Table.
Okay.
I'm trying to convince him to come work with me.
Sure.
Because he's big into like, making sausages and, curing.
That'd be awesome.
And, I want to do like a duck pastrami.
Okay.
Like I've had that in New York and it was fucking outrageous.
All right.
Like,
You're just saying that. Have you already told him that?
That I want him to
make a duck pastrami?
Yeah. I told him I want him to do like, duck bacon, duck pastrami. Like I want to really, obviously it's going to have to be I'm going to have to charge a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because duck is very expensive.
And what's his initial thoughts right now? Is he on board?
He said he'll help me out.
Okay.
He's still very young in his career and he still has,
it's going well for him.
A ways
right
to
now.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, he's come a long way from, I've known him since I was like 11.
Yeah.
And I pretty much pushed him to go to culinary school. I was like, dude, go to culinary school. Stop sitting on your couch. Stop just getting high all day and hating yourself and hating your job. I'm like, do something with it. And, finally he...
But interesting coming from somebody who went to culinary school and got nothing out of it.
I wouldn't say I got nothing out of it.
Right.
It definitely put me on a better path than I was in.
Sure.
It straightened me out.
And did he take your advice and go to culinary school?
He went to one of the best schools in New York City.
Oh, cool.
$40,000.
CIA?
No, FCI. I think it's French culinary.
Okay. Nice.
And he's doing very well, and he's learning, and it's great to see him, just the progress that he's made with his life. He changed his lifestyle completely. He lost a shit ton of weight.
Awesome.
And, that's from just not taking a break and eating at work. But, it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's doing well. And I'm really trying to convince him to come, help me streamline this. And,
well,
he helped me.
He owes you one. So,
right.
Come on. Because I want to see this do well. So
yeah, he's doing good, though, where he's at. He's doing all, like, the fermentation and butchery and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
which
awesome.
is cool.
Yeah, man. What's the ETA here for the trailer? I know that it's like probably not the simplest question to answer, but
well, I got.
What's your goal?
Everything's in place. My initial goal was in 3 weeks from now, which is obviously not realistic.
Right.
So pretty much next week it closes, the loan closes, then the trailer has to get shipped to ATX Food Builder. They're the ones who are doing my trailer right off Breaker.
Okay.
It takes like 2 weeks to get to them, and then they start putting all the equipment into it, and then they're telling me about 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm hoping for mid-July.
And like branding, paint, all that stuff, you can take care of that during that process?
Yeah, they're doing everything. I'm actually not wrapping it.
Okay.
I think that's kind of useless. I'm going to actually have them make me a banner.
Sure.
which is way more affordable.
Sure, yeah, okay. All right.
And let's say, somebody decides to graffiti on my trailer and it's wrapped. That means I have to get it rewrapped.
Yeah, yeah.
So by having it just painted, I could just buy some paint.
Yeah. And do you have any ideas for location?
I want to stay south.
Oh, yeah? Please do.
I would, yeah, that's the plan. I think the
Do you
south
know that
is...
the Moon Tower is an option possibly?
I was actually looking into it.
And South Austin Beer Garden. Now, I mentioned that with KC.
Mm-hmm.
They have a trailer there now. They definitely look like they could fit more trailers where they are.
That might be something to look into.
Please do.
I definitely...
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
I'll see what he says.
Definitely. I'm going to be scouting areas in the next couple weeks. I didn't want to get too ahead of the game because I didn't know when exactly everything was going to go through.
Yeah.
So now that I have an actual idea on the closing date, now I can actually start looking.
Sure.
So that's happening.
And I know that it's a lot. It's
is.
stressful and it's, there's a lot on your plate. But given those details, how do you feel besides that?
I definitely feel good. I definitely feel, happier than I have been. I'm actually doing some pop-ups around town. One just had a rain delay, which is kind of unfortunate, so we rescheduled it for June 29th.
Okay.
It's with my buddy over at Sauce Odyssey on 7th, on East 7th. So they have a huge beer garden, and we're gonna have games. They have like an old school N64, which is great.
That is great.
I think we're getting a DJ. We still have tickets on sale, which is great. It's also in collaboration with Meridian Hive.
So it's June 29th. It's at Sauce Odyssey?
Sauce Odyssey.
Okay. Where do people find tickets?
We have an Eventbrite.
Okay.
They can go to my Instagram, whether it's Brooklyn Breakfast Shop or Chef_Ryan Rosen.
Okay.
We're also doing it with Meridian Hive, which is a phenomenal mead company straight from Austin. And they actually just released like a rosé mead.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be like for Mother's Day. We were supposed to do that, the day before Mother's Day, and then we got rained out. Because,
did you try that?
No, I didn't get a chance to because we got rain delayed.
All right, yeah.
They were releasing it that day. It was going to be for our event. It was their meads are amazing though. I don't know if you've ever had Meridian Hive.
No.
I actually made a bunch of pickles for the event using their mead.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be super flavorful. And they have one that's like super hoppy.
You said that's June 29th?
June 29th.
What day is that?
That's a Saturday.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I want to go check that out.
You definitely should.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Anybody listening should go. So, see, I'll put this podcast out earlier. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. But you feel good. You feel good about the truck. You feel good coming in here?
Definitely. It's my first podcast ever in my life.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
We got to come back for another.
Definitely. Once the trailer opens up, we could, see how things are progressing. I'm hoping that, doing everything that I'm doing over the past few months creates a little bit of buzz.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of great feedback. I've done a couple pop-ups, back in December and one on New Year's Eve. So that was fun. I've done a pop-up with Peached last summer.
Sure.
Which was cool, but that was under Peach Tortilla.
Yeah. I think that whatever stress that comes, let that happen. But you're doing the right thing, right? It's not always rainbows and butterflies, but
only if.
I really do. I wish you the best here.
Appreciate that.
I'll be behind you. So,
thank you.
Yeah. Good luck, Chef.
Appreciate it.
All right.